A, but then 15 people say
Right,
just
just
me.
me. It's just me for everybody.
And the dog's like, oh, complain.
Yeah, it's me for everybody.
I was over at Orange Town Hall today. I saw Bob Britton quick. Oh, didn't have a.
Delayed? No, that's playing an old one. Yep, I think that's. I think you just have to go back to the tabs, maybe. For the Zoom tab. Is there a Zoom?
Why is it on YouTube?
Cause it
That's what
automatically
I stream.
broadcasts.
Why is it going?
What's the first tab? Or the bottom right.
Where did this?
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, hey.
There we go.
Hi Amber, we're having some technical difficulties.
First time.
I wonder if you float, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
There we go.
okay.
All right,
So we
so
don't
now
know if it's live streaming though.
it says custom live streaming service up top.
Okay. Well, let's hope, and we'll go with it. Okay,
I'm gonna hit record. You ready?
yeah, record for
The cloud.
that sounds right, I remember it saying that, and all the other ones. Okay, so it is 6:35 and we are gonna call the meeting to order. First item on our agenda is public comment. There's Heidi.
Oh, look at her. Look at that. So tan.
There is nobody else here in person, and Amber, it looks like it's just you on the computer. Do you have any public comment?
Come on.
You could just tell us that you love us. Yeah. Okay, all right, no public comment. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes for the May 27th special meeting that was held. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes, please?
Motion to approve.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion about those minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Aye, because I was not at the meeting.
That's right.
So motion
I
passes.
couldn't see the screen.
I couldn't see the screen. Oh, no worries. We just figured since you were our one client this evening, we would give you the opportunity to chat. But thank you for participating, Amber. Okay, so the minutes are approved officially. Next item on the agenda is just a discussion. Tonight was meet the staff night for summer camp, which we literally just wrapped up a couple minutes ago. So I don't know, Nicole, if there's anything you want to share about how that went. I can certainly talk about it from a parent's perspective, but if there's anything you want to hop in with.
I mean, I thought it went very well. We had a decent turnout.
Yeah.
And the staff was very eager and excited to see all the kids.
Yeah.
And they worked very hard over the last week getting everything ready. And we had our training today with DCF and Jen came in and did some de-escalation training, and then we kind of went over everything else. And tomorrow we have CPR training, and then the rest of the week we're gonna be getting everything ready to start on Monday.
Which thank God the heat's gonna break.
Yes.
So it'll be so blazing hot in the first couple of days, which is great. Yeah, agreed. From a parent perspective, it was fantastic to see. My kids have not yet been in the renovated space, and so they were super excited to like check out all the rooms and see all of the things. And the campers, like the counselors were great with like, just like immediately engaging with them and like getting to know them and, playing different games and stuff like that, watching puppet shows, putting on puppet shows. So it was really fantastic. And it was nice to have the opportunity to meet all of the counselors ahead of time so that everybody could like kind of put a name with a face and them also, right, the kids. So that was a really nice, I think, idea to add on.
Obviously, next year will be not as
Right,
crammed and rough,
Yeah.
and it will be more organized, and not that it wasn't
It
organized.
was
it was
super
different.
organized, but you won't
But it
feel
will
as
be,
much
yeah,
pressure,
it will,
right?
we'll have more time and be able to do more with the kids.
Yeah, but it was really lovely. So, again, just like a really nice opportunity to have that. So that was great. Any questions about that? Okay. So the next one is just a little update, about summer camp, because it's a coming
Yeah.
on Monday. Yeah, exactly. All right, so everybody got a little packet, from Nicole of kind of like the mock schedule for the different age groups. And then like the first month's schedule with all the special events.
There will be more added to it. I told all the parents that we would be emailing that out on Friday. Also, I asked them to sign up for text
Oh,
alerts because according to my rec, the email process is not the greatest, that the
Yeah.
text works better. So
Okay.
we'll be sending out something to remind people, and we'll send something on Monday, like sign up for text
that's cool.
alerts. We still have, this schedule for July, there's an August part, obviously, it's
Mhm.
still in draft, we still have finalized a few things. Want to get some more activities in there for the kids. We also gave out kind of what a day would look like at camp for the age groups. Obviously, when there's special fees, the day will change. The counselors will have a more in-depth schedule, so they know what to follow each day. The counselors also, we put together the whole summer of when they'll be working and which
Mhm.
groups they'll be working with.
Mhm.
Cause there are vacations, so who's filling in what.
Right.
They got a whole brand new employee handbook. And, what else do we do? All the forms are brand new, all accident reports, behavioral reports, evaluations, everything was done from scratch. Ms. Sharon's over there trying to get everything organized for paperwork wise,
To the nurse.
the nurse.
Yep.
Yeah, so things are coming together. Very happy with the staff. They've been great. Everybody knows they won the competition over at Southern. So I wasn't even gonna send them because I was a little nervous because they were young and new and going up against these big towns. And they're like, no, we want to do it. And then they text me, they're like, we won. It's
Excellent.
super
Yeah,
exciting.
it's very
Yeah, super
exciting.
exciting.
Yeah.
What is, was it Gaga? G-A?
Oh,
What is that?
right, yeah.
What is that?
It's a game,
Uh-huh.
you play kind of like in this octagonal,
Yeah.
yeah, like shaped pit.
Okay.
And you like hit like kind of like a playground ball, like knees down,
Mhm.
and like you try to like, I don't know, hit their
Knock
legs,
them out.
knock
Hit
it
'em, hit 'em,
away.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like ricochets off, it's
Yeah.
good, we have like a makeshift pit in our house.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
we actually got the
Okay.
boys an inflatable one for their birthday in May, and they are like, I mean, they'll play
Okay.
nonstop.
It's pretty cool.
And the school is actually putting two in, the
Oh.
PTO fundraise, so they should be going in soon. Which will be nice too, so we're hoping that we'll have those to use.
So it's similar to dodgeball, but in a pit type thing?
Yeah, it's a little bit
okay.
dodgeball, but like,
Dodgeball on the ground.
right,
Okay,
yeah,
you got it.
dodgeball, like knees and below, so.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, and like there's something about like how many times it can bounce. Yeah, I don't know, there's all sorts of, but it's
Real-
very, very popular.
Excellent.
Yeah, very, very
Okay.
popular.
You could probably, you
As
can get in
fun
there.
as-
I was gonna say, maybe I'll come on Monday at 10 o'clock and see what's going on there.
As numbers go, I think right now our heaviest week is about 45, our
Wow.
lightest week is 26.
Oh,
But we did get a ton of registrations the last few days, so those numbers are gonna change.
Yeah.
Registration was shut off, so.
Yep.
If anybody does wanna register, they can contact me and we'll
Okay.
definitely get them in. We're not gonna turn anyone away. I may actually switch it and open it up so that people can still register.
Right, right. And I was gonna say, do you think that you'll need to bring in any additional staff or no, like we have?
We have
enough staff?
plenty of staff.
Okay,
And I
But
have
even if there are
people
last
on
minute.
standby if we need.
got it, like for sick,
Yeah.
like if somebody calls
Yeah.
out sick or whatever, that's great, okay.
Could you share the employee handbook and maybe some of the official forms with the commission
Yep.
members?
I've been actually meaning to send those over to you. I've had went over some of it's with us. She proved it for us, but I'll send that over to you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Are we posting it online too? Or do we need to wait for approval from the attorney? I know people were asking for like, you know how like we don't, like at schools, you normally have like
The
parent,
student
staff.
handbook, the student handbook is
Right.
done
Yeah,
and
that's-
approved.
yeah.
I don't know if that one got posted or not.
I know sometimes things
I
get
don't
lost, like
think
we
it
ask
did.
for it or whatever, and then it's not posted, so I just wanna make sure people.
for the student
Yeah, I
handbook, cause usually you
yeah.
don't, usually you don't post an employee handbook. Wherever I worked,
we
that's
don't
never
have our-
available, cause that's proprietary information.
Yeah, we do have our
usually.
kid one, like our student handbook.
Yeah,
But I don't know if we
I don't know,
have
I have to check and see, cause I mean, there's nothing in ours that's not
yeah,
anything that's the
Yeah,
actual
it's,
public should see.
yeah,
The public
Lockheed-
actually,
Lockheed Martin, they will, you
well, that's
cannot,
different, like, when you're in a public entity, like,
Yeah.
I know, I need to check and
That one.
see.
yeah, cause,
I know
Definitely
it's
for our
all
student,
online.
Yeah. and check to see if other towns also have it online, cause I don't believe I've ever saw a town have it posted online, an employee handbook, that is.
I know I looked at, Hamilton Worth and they had the parent one, but I don't think they had,
Yeah, I don't believe
but
I,
if someone wants to look, they have everything online on.
Some of it, you know, like, I think it, some of it falls under policies,
yeah,
I just wanna make, I just. wanna
yeah,
make sure
and the
we're
forms
doing
should be
those.
publicly made too, right? The forms and the student handbooks.
I think it depends
I
on what
don't
the
know
form
what, like,
is.
the
Well,
access
yeah, you know,
forms and
the,
that's
what the
right.
parents have to sign and
Oh,
things,
yeah,
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 the parent forms, yeah,
Right.
but the internal form.
no,
Yeah.
usually that's all
So-
proprietary
It's on
information,
MyRec.
yeah.
So we had a few hiccups with MyRec, but we're definitely learning it and trying to.
Yeah, I was a little frustrated.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very frustrating. And I thought it was because I wasn't on a laptop, I could not register there.
Oh, really?
I thought of Nicole so much, I feel horrible.
No, but some of them are, like, sometimes it is funky, like to get it through. So as of right now, none of the student handbook is not posted on the website. Do you know, Nicole, is Jen Capasso still handling the website stuff? Do you have the ability to post it to the website?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'll email, I know she's away,
Yeah, I could probably put it on MyRec.
right, but I'm thinking like it might be nice. Like the only people who really know to go to my rec are,
The parents.
right, so like it might be nice to put some of that on like the actual Park and Rec website and
Website.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll email it to Jen, just even to find out like who exactly here does that. Whether it's her or if there's somebody like in IT that could post that. And then we could post like the student handbook, the camper handbook.
Yeah,
Um. And then,
Now, does the town of Bethany, have they posted their employee handbook?
I don't know, even know that they have an employee handbook.
Oh, okay.
we do.
They do? Okay, I don't believe so.
Yeah, cause I don't believe
Listen,
I've
maybe
ever
we don't
seen
have to, I
that.
mean, like, in a school, your policies are pretty much your employee handbook. And then your contract is online and that's and that is your expectations of like,
Yeah.
you know, employment and whatnot. So it may be that just that our policies are gonna cover personnel and then that should be public,
Yeah,
Cause everything in the, like, at the Board of Ed, you can find out everything
okay,
in that respect of like what you're supposed to do. But if we don't have to.
yeah, I would just double check with the attorney regarding employee
Yeah, like the refund.
handbooks and
policy was
stuff, yeah.
posted, right?
Mhm.
But we could do a little recon about that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Nicole, if you wouldn't mind to share those final versions
Definitely
out, that would be
start.
awesome.
This is very nice.
Yeah, the schedule is really nice.
Mhm.
to see.
Oh, I have a question. Do you have families signed up for before and after, or just the
Yes.
main part of the?
Yep.
Ooh, okay.
So, actually, I have numbers for that. So we have a average of 10 to 20 in the morning and an average of. In the afternoons, it looks like anywhere from 12 to the max we have is 20.
Okay,
Similar, right?
Yeah, actually, the mornings are more like, it depends, it's like between 8 to 18, depending on the week.
Okay.
So,
What's the busiest week and then the lowest week?
the busiest week seems to be the sports week, and the lightest week is the following week, which is sad, it's the carnival week.
Mm.
I know
Like
that's
the
the
fast
best,
food.
yeah, that is fun.
I don't know if people are picking weeks based on that.
No, probably not.
No, because this just.
Honestly, like, I might wanna change that to a different week, because that's gonna be the best week out of.
Mm.
So that's why I put tentative on it
Yeah.
and subject to change.
Right.
We wanna make sure like they're there for the
Right,
best parts.
right.
But also people might have, I know I had a few parents ask which we was supposed to. But
Right, I know, that was, we're gonna miss that, I was like, you'll be fine.
I mean, they're gonna do sports.
That's why I
every
said, I was like, you're gonna play others.
So what the structure that we have for the staff, so you guys know, is, so we have leads for each group, which are college kids are going into college or older. Then there'll be a counselor that's a high school or college kid, and then, depending on the group, there's a third that's a high school kid. And then we have the CITs and the junior CITs, but we did hire, like, one person is gonna do sports specialties and one is gonna do art specialties.
Oh, good.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
in the years to come, we'll have like a nature specialist and other different kind of specialists, so.
Very exciting, it sounds very exciting. I mean,
Nicely organized.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for all you've done, because this
Yeah,
is
We
definitely
need
what
structure.
needed, yeah.
Structure is key.
Yeah.
absolutely, right, for
It gives things
the
look
staff
forward.
and for the
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
right, like everybody thrives with that, yeah. All right, so each age group again has a lead, and then they have like a second in command, and then
Yes.
some of the groups also have like a third in
Yes,
command.
depending on the size of the
Yep.
group.
And then when they rotate into like the sports group, the arts group, that's where then like we have that extra,
Person
Yep.
to lead that.
and then a CIT and a junior CIT.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it. Okay. Any other questions about it? The nurse's office got built.
We're definitely-
Yep, it's almost done.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Where is it in
You
the,
end up putting in the green room,
Right,
okay,
Like the homework.
okay, that, oh, that, excellent,
Yeah,
the homework room.
yeah.
so we're waiting on a door.
Yeah, so we're in the door and the filing cabinet, a few other things. So she's in there now, getting everything organized and
Right.
set up for Monday.
Perfect.
As
And
best as
she's
she
here
can.
9 to
Three.
3 every day.
Yes. Yes.
So that's where
Nice.
nobody's gonna wanna go, because you're either injured or doing homework.
Clear to tell the kids that there would be no homework during summer.
One word, one of the kids said, can you take the bad word off the book?
Very nice.
No.
Think about that.
Right, exactly. It was very-
Like, that's cute.
It's
Very
an
cute.
alternative name that we can come up with
Right.
for homework.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Study all,
Right.
No.
Brain
But it was
something.
funny, right?
Yeah, something about the brain.
Right.
that's cute.
Rename the homework.
Homework room, but it was
I
funny.
forget what they call it.
Brain gymnasium,
Right.
right?
That's cute.
Right.
That's cute.
The seminar room.
But that's good. So nurse is all set. And then you were talking to the counselors today about EpiPen training.
Yes. So a handful of us all got EpiPen trained,
Mhm.
so I wanna say there's 7 of us.
Wow,
That are all trained, God forbid there's
Right.
something, it could be done immediately, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to wait for the nurse to come.
Right, which is fantastic.
Yes. And
Is
we're-
that all those, like AVQ and all the other, they do all the same things?
Yeah.
And
I
then
usually do it all.
Mike and I got med trained
That's
also.
Perfect. So you guys and the nurse can administer meds if needed.
What else? We're still working on the golf cart, so
Yeah,
now I might need it.
right,
If my back stays so late for this,
right.
but,
It's just segue.
we have a golf cart, it's just, I'm trying to get it repaired.
Oh, okay.
So I got one quote, which was a little high, I'm waiting, another guy was going back and forth, and then he kind of went MIA. So I have to reach out to him tomorrow to see what his cost will be.
Okay.
Who did you, I know somebody who does like small engine stuff
Oh, yeah,
around town, yeah.
right, cause it
Couple of
just needs new batteries and new tires.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
They
that's
they
nothing.
wanted, one place was like $2,600.
Wow.
Oh,
just get a new cart.
That's what,
Yeah.
now they're really, they went from like 6,000 to 10,000
oh,
for a new one. So we figured if we can fix this one, we just use that.
You gotta use gator trucks.
Right,
Fix stuff.
right,
If you do know someone, that would be great.
I'm
right.
sure there's gotta be somebody in town that's like,
I wonder if
Isn't
it's
there a
like, I'm
gentleman,
wondering if,
Todd, that used to work at the Public Works, Todd, I don't know his last name. He used to help my husband with small, um. Fixing small engine
It
components
literally
and
just needs
things.
tires and batteries?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, it's not like it would be that hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
are
you
you
offering
If I-
offering?
if I had to-
I was like,
Yeah,
well, like,
but
that's,
I'm thinking
like,
about
that's
the-
even like an engine
Yeah.
stuff for
The
me, right?
garage
Like,
in
it's like,
town
you
or
put a new
something.
battery in it, right?
Yeah.
the town used to have a mechanic, but I think they got rid of that.
And we're getting the van fixed right now.
Oh, okay.
Across from Greenlight,
What are we thinking?
That's what I was saying, that's what I was thinking of too.
that garage is still there.
Oh, Pleasant View?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's Andrea
Hubbard.
Hubbard, yeah.
Father-in-law, it's her father-in-law, right?
Mhm.
Um,
You want me to give them a call, or do you
Yeah,
want
the one-
Nicole, call them, or?
He's not Pleasant.
Try.
Hubbard's.
What about Elm City?
No,
Does he
it
do
is
stuff
Hubbard's
like
Pleasant
that?
View.
Yeah.
He
Matt
could.
Hubbard's father-in-law is
City
Deacon
could
Arrow.
also.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah, that's the heavy stuff.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no,
Elm
Pleasant
City.
View's right across.
Yeah.
Right next to Greenlight.
Cause they deal with the small trailers, so they may have the small tires.
They may be able to do something.
Yeah,
Oh, that's very good,
You wanna
yeah.
reach out to your guy first?
yeah,
If not, I'll try the other one.
You just did.
You
Mhm.
did already?
Yeah.
Fred's on top.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can get that done. And then what does the van need?
They're hoping it was just a battery,
Oh,
but they're not sure.
okay,
They'll all know on Monday.
okay,
But we figured we're gonna keep it here, so, cause it's not
Yeah.
getting taken care of or driven.
right,
So that way, if we gotta, even just to go back and forth to the lake, we can use it.
Right.
And if we wanna bring the moon bounces, we could throw it in there.
correct,
Yeah.
right, no, that's smart, honestly,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay, I like that. That's great. I know, I was just saying,
CDL
I've never
need- you need
actually seen
CDL
the
for that?
van moved.
I have to find out, I'm not sure, it
It's like
might just be.
You don't need a, you don't need
It
a,
is.
I don't
It
think
is
you need a
a-
CDL, you need a special party license, not like a
Class
CDL,
E?
like to drive it. Yeah.
Well, that's a
It's like,
CDL.
like
That's what I
ACES, like a,
Right,
or ACES, when I was at
Is
ACES,
it-
they had to have a certain class, but it's not a CDL course,
Right.
it's not.
Hmm.
but that's like if
you're
you're driving.
Yeah.
students and
Only-
everything.
Is it only if you're only,
I think only if you're transporting
Transporting
students, like if you're just driving the
students.
moon bounce around, I think you're fine,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I'll make sure, cause I don't wanna
Yeah,
get us in
right.
trouble.
yeah,
No,
but I
it's
would
more
think
about
it
that
would just
kids
be
are-
if you were transporting
Yeah.
students.
Oh, that's what I'm driving them over to the, like, you're talking about just bringing stuff over, but
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
right
yeah.
now,
that's-
yeah.
You might wanna check though with the insurance that the town has on that vehicle, because when I used, even when I worked at ACES and we were delivering gifts. The ACES drivers were the only ones who were allowed to drive. The
That
vehicles,
car.
like staff, but not any staff could do it.
Right,
I have it.
But it's interesting, when I worked at DCF, I didn't
gotta get
need
it fixed
a
first,
special license to drive kids around,
right,
so we're,
DCF is, I mean, there's like emergency
right,
no,
bullets or whatever.
no, it was.
Even if it's not an emergency
home visit
situation.
training.
yeah,
Interesting, but
I think that they're still honestly a little bit like that.
that was many years.
Yeah. And then the only other thing for summer camp is we just need to talk a little bit with maybe the town about the cleaning schedule for the annex building to make sure that that's nailed down.
Mhm.
Cause there have been some bumps about the cleaning schedule and making sure that it's like cleaned well.
Who is in charge of that?
I believe Don
PW?
Jay is the facilities manager. They're down a staff member, right now, but they're supposed to have somebody, I think, back in place after July 1st, so hopefully that will help.
Down at custodian,
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah,
that's what we were, that's when they were looking for someone part-time, yeah.
yeah. But just trying to make sure that, like Nicole had the place like professionally cleaned and everything with the floors and stuff after. Like the painting and all of that stuff, so we wanna make sure that it stays in really, really good shape.
Would they do the restrooms also, make sure that's cleaned up too and
That's, I
everything?
think, some
Yeah,
of the stuff, right, that like
Yeah.
needs to get,
okay.
like, what exactly are they gonna be responsible for? What are the camp counselors gonna be responsible for? And then just making sure that like it's done to the standard that we all have.
Mhm.
So,
We're gonna create like a checklist and go over it with Don.
right, yeah, I think that's a good idea, right? And then,
Counselors do like basic vacuuming and stuff like that, and then they do like
think-
sterilization and.
right, what do
Like
they do,
wipe
wipe
down
the
the tables,
tables?
the chairs, make
Yeah.
sure nothing's on the floor,
Yeah.
put the chairs up so that they can come in, empty the garbage and.
Yeah.
Vacuum,
Vacuum and
wash
Bathroom
the
and
floors
stuff, and
and-
yeah,
yeah.
kitchen area.
I know at like school, we have like a checklist of like how many times per week, like,
It gets clean.
correct. Like how many times a week does like everything come up, get vacuumed, floors get washed, windowsills get washed, like all that stuff. So maybe we can like brainstorm that with Don. Like, what is the expectation?
Right.
Like, obviously, right, garbage every night, bathrooms every night,
Right.
you
I
know.
just wanna make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, yeah, I think that that's smart, and we wanna make sure that like, the building looks fantastic right now, like, we wanna, we wanna keep it really
Yeah.
nice and clean and keep everybody healthy and.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so, yeah. Do you like want and or need any help from the commission with that piece?
Let's see how Monday goes.
Okay, right, okay, and then just let us know. Cause we can certainly, you know, try to help out with some of that too. Anything else? Does anybody have any questions or anything else they wanna talk about with summer camp?
Mhm.
I know to even like as of today, like people are still turning in their paperwork and everything, but you're good with like collecting everybody's, okay.
And everyone's paying before?
They have to, you have to be
I
fully
wonder,
paid.
yeah, I'm just curious if anyone has given you, contacted you with any issues about that, or,
I have one lady today, but I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay,
okay.
okay,
But yeah, so that's
They have to
gonna
pay for the whole summer, like if they're
Yeah.
registering for their kid.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
it's
we've done
supposed to
it this
be
year.
paid by today.
Yep.
So tomorrow, my plan is to go through and see who's not, and we'll have to reach out to them. There have been one or two people that have asked for payment plans.
Yeah.
But they have a significant bill, so I did split it up into some,
right,
where they
Excellent.
have 4
Makes sense.
kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
try to work with that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I feel like that makes sense, right? Like, even if you pay like, you know, like whatever, the first 2 weeks before the first 2 weeks, and then
Right.
like, you're kind of,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had to schedule.
correct,
Mhm.
yeah, cause I get that, cause, yeah, I mean, all of a sudden the other day, I was like, oh, I gotta go in and
Kids,
pay,
less one.
right, I gotta pay for the boys, and I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, it's like. We're just doing 3 weeks a month.
Summer's just beginning.
All right,
Yeah.
so I do get that.
Okay.
But that's good though, that like at least the majority of. Yeah, people are taking care of that, that
Good.
makes sense, yeah. And at least through my rec too, like there's a record of the balances.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's what's very attractive
Yeah.
to that
Yeah,
system.
that helps,
Yeah.
for sure. That's good. Okay,
Now, I have a question with that. Let's say for at the end of the year or, end of the season, is there a way to print out a report?
for
Yes.
taxes.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we could present that to finance or to the town
Oh,
or,
we can get a report for taxes, that's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing,
Yeah.
because I never claimed anything I ever did, because I
It's
never
really
knew
easy to print it.
total amounts of what I paid when.
This was the easiest year
Yeah.
ever to
Oh,
just
that's
print
nice.
it, yeah.
okay, so parents could print that out for
Yeah,
taxes,
that's
but can we
awesome.
print like an end of the season report to
Yeah.
All
present to the
revenue.
town? Yes.
Oh, yeah, they need that.
Yeah, that's because they never had that
Yeah,
before, so I'm
yeah.
just, that's great.
Yeah, no, it's,
Mhm.
that is great.
Like,
And I've been,
Okay,
so
excellent.
Ben has been really good working with me also too, like just, cause I wanna make sure I'm on like budgetary wise, so
Mhm.
we sit down and kind of see what's coming in. We broke it, Leslie and I broke down the percentage
Mhm.
to know what I have to spend in employees and in expenses. Knowing that we may go over a little in employees, but try to keep maybe the expense part down.
Mhm. Kind of balance it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
excellent.
Okay. So the next thing is just a discussion and possible action on the before and after care program.
Mhm.
It looked like when I was reviewing the minutes from the May meeting that I missed, that you guys started to talk a little bit about before and after school care and like the hours and things like that. For before care, are you gonna run 7 to 8:30? Or whatever
Yes.
time they go over into the building? Yeah, I do think that will make it very attractive,
And
yeah.
it's hurt, like,
Yeah.
there's so many teachers that I think, or people that have to be in work at 8 or 7:30 like I do, and it's like.
Right,
Have to flex my schedule and it'd be so stressful for 7:40.
right.
So that was 7 to what?
8:30.
8:30.
I
8:30?
think there might end up being more people that
Cause
utilize.
I think
that.
8:30 is when they let the kiddos into the building.
Yeah, okay. And then for after school, that's what, 3:30, 3 o'clock to 6?
3:15 to 6 is what's in the minutes from last time.
3:15 to 6?
School ends at 3:10.
Okay,
Right,
to 6 p.m.
right, and then they walk over,
Okay.
get picked up, okay.
Is that a all or nothing
What do you mean?
for that? Can you do like
We talked about that last time,
Yeah.
like,
So-
5 or?
So we're probably gonna do like a 5-day option, 3-day option, 2-day option. you can do a drop-in, but the only way you can do it is if you contact Mike or I.
Well, I'm not the
You mean
days, but
that?
like, yeah, and
Oh.
like, cause.
Just mornings, you mean, and?
No, like,
I think
if you
before-
3:15 to 5.
I think there was there before an option of 3:15
There was
to
three-
5?
there
I
was
thought
3:15
six
to
was the, like
5.
the extended.
And
Yeah,
then six was extended.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was I don't know if the price was different, but there was a distinction.
Yeah, I
didn't think so either.
No, there was.
Six,
There
there
was.
was, I remember.
So-
It was a different price,
Yeah,
yeah. It
was
wasn't
it
like
different?
much, but it was a different price. I don't know if it was this
Maybe
year,
not recently,
like when
but in
Nick
the
did it
past
for the
it
first
was.
couple of
Oh, in the
in the
past,
past,
okay.
Yeah.
in the
I don't know.
I mean,
past,
that's
it
something we could
was.
discuss, cause there were parents like,
I don't
you
think it
guys
was
that
that-
picked up at, some
Right.
parents just came and picked up
Right.
half an
Some
hour
people need it
later
for a
and
half
still had
hour.
to pay.
Yeah,
the amount.
I picked
Right.
up at 3:45.
Yeah.
Like many
You-
times, we
maybe
were
you could
literally
do
walking
like a
into the
3:30 to
Anderson.
5
and I still
option and
paid.
then a 3:30 to 6
Yeah.
option.
Okay, so we did 3:30. Or whatever.
Just adds to the layer.
yeah, and as long as you know the staffing ahead of time. it's-
Maybe just,
shouldn't
Or you
be
can
an
even do
issue.
3:30 to 4:30 as like one option and then,
Yeah, see,
and then
that's a-
4:30
yeah.
to 6 as another option.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people that
I
are
think
like
gets
picked
too
up.
complicated.
yeah, I
Oh.
wanna try to keep,
Yeah.
it's either 3:30 to 5 and 5 to 6. Right? Or 3:30 to 4:30,
and then
or
4:30 to
you're in
6.
for the whole time.
right.
Yeah, that's what I meant, sorry, like,
Mhm.
that's what I was saying, cause,
For school teachers.
yeah.
I don't know what time you would get the boys, but there were a lot of parents that came, like,
5:59.
it was like,
It was literally me at 5:59.
They several times begged me to come last because
There's
they
a lot of us,
they
yeah.
just wanted to be the last ones one time.
Yeah.
Like, there's some of us. who
No,
did
sorry, it was
sports
always
and
me.
activities every day, and so honestly, that's why I didn't do JCC this year, because I would have paid for Drew to go
Right.
pick him up.
I will say, I
You know?
think like, if we're gonna lessen the price after a certain time, I think holding till 5 o'clock would probably help more families. Right, cause like there's probably more families that could be here by 5
Yes.
than there are
Right.
by
Yeah.
4:30.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an hour, yeah. We
right.
pay an extra
well,
hour.
I mean, we can also survey the parents too.
Right,
that's an idea, that's a great
Survey.
idea, yeah.
yeah,
Because I know even at the J, we were talking about, it's only until 5:30.
theirs is only till 5:30, yeah,
You know, so. Do
right,
we really need it? to
Yeah,
stay
like, how many people
till-
stayed
How
till
many
6?
people,
Probably
if it's
not
only
many.
one,
Mhm.
or two, is it worth
right,
paying
Yeah,
a staff member, two staff members?
yeah,
right,
Or-
could stay an extra half hour, right, that's a good idea. If you guys wanted to do like a little survey to see,
Mhm.
like, what are the hours that you really need?
Yeah,
And honestly, similarly, you could do the morning too, to see, like, do people
Right.
need 7? How many people need 7 versus how many people need 7:30?
Right,
Just to make sure that you're gonna have enough kids sign up.
cause
To
that's
make
gonna
it.
definitely be a hard thing to staff, but I'm trying to build relationships over at school.
See, and that-
Some people-
Yes.
and that's perfect, getting the parents involved with the decision making, I
Yeah.
think that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and right, if you could get like a para educator or a teacher or somebody
Yeah.
who's willing to do the morning,
Right.
right? Yeah. Right,
Jamie, you wanna-
well, I was gonna say, there's a para educator.
yeah,
who's
listen, I would
working
totally do
some-
it, I'll be at work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking too, I don't.
I would have,
I don't
I have no
anticipate-
problem helping out, but
Right.
I unfortunately
But
start.
when I need you
Yeah,
to.
gotta
Be
it's
there early,
helpful,
yeah, you gotta be there early.
But I think surveying the parents is a
Yeah.
good idea.
Mhm.
I'm sure 6 o'clock is Sunday, but.
I think so too, 'cause-
And then
I mean,
There's a lot of people there
depends.
like
Yeah.
late, like I feel like if I ever picked Drew up at like 5 because he wanted to stay there, like so many kids were picked up by like.
Well, the difference
I
in
think there
price
was
is like so little.
outflux at 5, or
Yeah.
before 5, so like
Yeah,
my kids would usually be the last, not the last ones, but like there'd be
Yeah.
5 or 6
Yeah.
kids for
there were
that
not
last
a lot
hour.
of kids left.
Yeah,
But
because
there'd be 5 or 6 kids for
Yeah.
that whole last hour,
Yeah.
not trickling
It's as
out
a-
between.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I
a
mean-
lot of people like at Lockheed Martin, Sikorsky live in town. I know quite a few people do, so they're the 9 to 5ers.
Right, yeah.
it'd be interesting to see,
Yeah.
like
Too,
surveying
like
people. and seeing what
traffic.
they want.
Exactly, well, see, exactly, traffic, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause like I usually try to leave by like 4:30, 4:45, but like 5:30.
Well, the
sometimes-
difference in price was so little.
Yeah,
That like, you just do it anyway, and then if you need it,
Right.
you have it, if not, no big deal.
Right.
Pretty quickly, because I wanna get registration up
Yeah.
ASAP, because I'm already getting calls from
Yeah.
parents who want
So-
to register.
What if we put something out, because I think people are just wondering, right? Like similar with summer camp, like people
Right.
just wanna know for sure that they have this.
Yeah.
So what if we put something out, that just said like, you know, a survey is coming about, but we're envisioning the hours to be 7 to 8:30 and whatever, 3:15 to 6. And then registration will be opening. I mean, before and after care registration didn't used to come out all that early.
No, people used to be really nervous because it would sometimes like they were afraid it would fill up and stuff. And so I was like, did I miss it? And then one time it was like word of mouth, like when Drew first started, it was
Oh,
like
geez.
word of mouth. And it was like, you got like a phone number and like.
Right, yeah, there was like
click this-
nothing
yeah.
ever on the
And that
school
was during
website,
COVID,
like you
but
didn't
still.
even know, like,
Yeah, right.
it
It was-
existed.
Yeah,
That year.
yeah, it was like.
What would feel, I mean, you've got summer camp opening next week, so like, you gotta be reasonable.
Or I wanted to try to have, before and after school, like the beginning of July, but I don't think that's realistic,
No.
so I wanna say maybe mid.
15th or something.
When is the bulletin released?
We already missed it.
Okay,
I think the.
We could put it in the August
I
one.
think.
because that would kind of, you know,
Like 14th is a Monday.
because everyone gets that in their mailbox, you know, so just, hey,
It's a good
look
idea.
what's coming.
August.
Under
Yeah,
the
but I think-
superintendent
and I think we
section or
hit all,
something.
like, I think we hit all like the Facebook sites too with like
Yeah.
the survey link in there.
Mhm.
For parents, and then people say to people, we're, you know, we're trying to get ahead on this, can people like send and forward this to anybody?
Mhm.
And we can actually
Yeah.
we probably can send it over to BCS.
No,
That's what I.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they
They
can
could
do
post it on
a,
their website.
they can do like
here.
a blast on there,
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
like,
yeah.
and maybe like a newsletter or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, just
Using a
blast it
publication
everywhere.
basically saying that, the plans are in the works for before and after. care
Exactly.
to-
And if we attach the
Come out
survey
and-
link to it.
Yeah,
Just
Like,
put it
if
out
it goes
everywhere.
on-
I mean, people are only gonna fill it out once if they get it
Yeah.
5 times, they're only gonna fill it out
I mean,
once,
we
but I'd
could-
rather get it 5 times
Yeah,
than zero.
exactly,
you
so
know?
if you
But
know,
at least they've been
just like people
informed.
who are on Facebook, get it through their email,
yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
you know?
We did the survey for the, orientation
Mhm.
that we had, or the, event we had.
Yeah.
for
Open house?
the- Yeah, open house,
Mhm.
and I think almost everybody responded.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Great.
Majority of people did.
Right, that's great.
Yeah. Mhm.
So what if so if you're gonna survey first and then make decisions based off of the
Yeah.
survey?
Mm.
If the survey went out next week and you kept it
Okay.
open for 2 weeks
Yeah. 2 weeks would bring us
to the 11th,
July.
Yeah, mid-July?
what if you said? Cause I know it takes my rec a little bit to turn stuff over and get
Yeah,
it set
that's
up.
the thing.
So what if we said it was gonna open like July 28th? That's a month before school starts. If people know it's
That's
coming,
too
Yeah,
late.
We see,
want
that's,
first.
that's
But
why
if-
advertise
that's the
about
thing,
it.
if we're saying that we're gonna be doing
They know
it,
it's coming.
then you know it's
they
coming.
know it's coming, and then.
Let's be real.
I mean,
And then they're not-
you could even go like 2 or 3 weeks before the school starts. If you start blasting, you know, it's coming, here's the survey, getting input, at least that will give Nicole a
I mean,
few.
I can even start setting up on my rec, and if I have to tweak it, I could tweak it,
Yeah,
cause that's gonna be that's the. take
Right,
a
right, a
lot
long
of
time, right,
Yeah.
but that'll give you like 2 weeks to like, look at the survey results,
Right.
make the decisions,
Yeah.
okay.
cause when does school start?
Yeah.
20.
28 or whatever.
25th?
25th, yeah.
25th?
Yeah.
Geez, that's around the corner, isn't it?
Teachers,
With a month.
teachers go,
Yeah.
Where it is, I
and
mean,
the
well,
teachers go
for
back
my
to
age, it is around the
So, I mean,
corner.
it is like, it's basically 4 weeks before it opens.
As parents, is that enough time for you guys?
As long as I know it's
As
coming.
long as I know it's coming and I don't have to
Or-
do what I did this year, I will be so thankful that I don't have to rely on my mom and Amber.
Yeah, as long as you know that it's
Take care
coming.
of my child.
Yeah.
So
I think
every,
that's-
so everything needs to be closed out, I would say by August 4th, right? Surveys, everything respond and,
By June.
The surveys will be done well before.
Yeah,
that.
that'll be done by
Yeah.
July,
Yeah.
11th. The surveys will be done, so
Okay.
that, and then signups will start, but at least it should be able to gauge interest of who needs.
Right,
Who needs what.
And I think, I mean,
Once
most
you
people
sign-
fill it out
sign
early, so we
up-
have a basic idea, not,
sign up
not
for
everybody's
it.
gonna like run out the
Right.
clock on a survey, so
A
we
week
have a
before
good idea,
school?
right?
So I think that doing a sign up
Yeah.
close is tough on that one.
Yeah.
Especially if we're gonna have different options, because.
Right.
Because people's situations are like, could potentially like change, like if you're in sports, or if there's like play, if there's
right.
like
Mhm.
other or sports that kids are
Other-
into, like they
yeah.
may not need it.
yeah, yeah,
Like they may just need morning and not afternoon, so
Mhm.
I think like
just keep
doing
it
it like a
open,
camp with a hard close is a little
different.
Yeah. I was gonna
different,
say,
because it could change, you
I don't
know?
wanna run
Yeah.
that.
What's
What's
like monthly or something, I think, yeah.
Oh, payment, maybe,
No.
sign up?
Sign up, so I feel like cause last year was the
Mhm.
first year that it worked through my rec and we
Yeah.
were only open for like a minute. So you signed up by week for before and after care.
But it had to be at least a week at least a week ahead and paid a week ahead paid.
Right,
Like you couldn't sign up that Monday,
right, for that.
show up
For that week.
and like,
Right.
yeah, you had to be paid a week. I mean, I did mine like a month ahead.
I would like it to be a month, because we
Yeah.
need to plan staffing.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
I think monthly is good.
I think what I'd like, and I don't know, I have to talk to my rec, but I would like to have an option where if you. No, some parents can't afford a year, like if they wanna do a year, they could do a year, 6
Right.
months, and then monthly.
Yeah,
Because if we do weekly.
Yeah.
We won't know what we need for staffing,
Right.
if we're gonna do licensing, we need to know. what we need.
absolutely.
As a parent,
Yeah, agreed.
I get why they were doing it. It was horrible because I was like, did I sign up for this week already?
Right.
Did I pay for this week? And then when
Is there-
I get refunds back, I was like, wait, what did I pay for? What did I not pay for? Like,
Right.
Is there a way you can set it up so that parents can sign up for the whole year? But agree to a monthly
like
payment,
an automatic withdrawal? That's what.
so that they're
Yeah,
committing
that's
and
one
you're
of the
committing
things
that
I'm
that
looking-
spot will be
One of
available.
the things
Yeah,
I'm
right.
looking into.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a great
Cause I
idea.
wanna see
like
if there
that.
could be a reoccurring instead of us having to constantly going in.
Yeah.
The truck button.
Right, that'd be nice, right, if it worked. Okay,
that would
I
be
mean,
nice
I'm
too.
sure most parents, if they're signing up for 1 month, they're gonna be signing up for the whole year.
Yeah,
Can you
At
add,
least.
can you add like discounts? If you sign up for a year, it's this amount. If you sign up for
Mhm.
6 months, it's this amount.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
You know, so that way the parent will pay for the year, even though they may be paying it monthly or whatever,
I
right?
think honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know that I would pay for a year because anyone's situation can change.
Yeah,
Like, so I personally would never do 6 months or a year. I would always do monthly.
yeah,
But I mean, everybody's different, but
right,
like,
like I said,
but
my
like if
kids were
I-
signed up for 5 days,
Yeah.
always at Park and Rec, always at JCC, and most weeks we used it 3 days a week, but if I needed it on Thursday.
Yeah.
Wasn't looking for it,
okay,
I
yeah,
knew I had my spot.
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I
Yeah.
could be a minority in that. I wouldn't pay for a year because
Yeah.
Yeah.
you get laid off tomorrow.
that's why you have, well.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, the
that's
different
special
options.
circumstance,
Yeah.
like, if
No,
you
but I'm
call
just saying, like, I'm
me,
saying
okay,
me,
I
that's
don't
just
need it
not,
Yeah.
anymore.
Right.
We're not
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I hear ya.
You're
Yeah.
not getting your money back.
and
But I
just,
would say, like, if
yeah,
you
just
took
offer, you
because-
know, a nice discount for a year, 6 months, another discount,
Yeah.
3 months,
did
another
used to
discount.
be- Right, like
Sibling
there did
discount.
used to
Yeah,
be,
exactly.
yeah, like a sibling discount, and then there
Mhm.
was a discount if you did
Hmm.
summer camp and then also
Ah.
before and after care.
Oh, I
Oh,
like that.
right.
Like that was a
Yes.
discount that we did, so we'll have to, I mean, we'll have to look at the numbers.
Right.
You
Hmm.
know,
That's a great idea
yeah,
too.
cause it was like, if you used summer camp and before and after care,
Mhm.
there was. Okay, so, but we're thinking a 2-day a week option, a 3-day a week option, and a 5-day a week
Mhm.
option.
2, 3 and
Um,
5, right?
And you could pick those days, what days they are or not?
That makes it hard to make a plan.
Yes, it is.
No,
But it has to be
no, I'm saying if
consistent,
you're,
right?
yeah, no,
The same
no,
2
yeah,
days,
that's what I'm
right, yeah.
saying, sorry, like,
That's-
if
that's what I
it's not you guys saying, well, if you take 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. It's.
Well, I was
you-
thinking yes, because programmatically, that's like you're splitting a 5-day a week spot between two different people,
That
right?
can get
But
Somebody
if we
that can get
know
really confusing.
ahead of time, we can
you
plan
can
it.
plan as long.
Right, so if somebody says like, I need 2 days, and I feel like in my rec, you picked the days. I do feel like you
Yeah.
clicked on the days that
Yes,
you
I
wanted,
think,
if you
yeah.
didn't want 5 full days.
Yeah,
So I think as long as we know that like, if you sign up for a 2-day a week option, it's these 2 days,
Yes,
and it's not
yeah.
like you say, oh, actually, we're gonna switch, like.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, like it has to be the
Right, yeah.
same consistent 2 days.
Right.
Is the price the same whether you pick 5 days of the week or let's say they pick 2, or is it like prorated or something like that?
I think we did it, if you picked 5, it was a better rate than if you picked 2 or 3.
Okay, that's what I wanna hear. Okay, that's good. Yep.
Um,
Sorry, I was like,
Right,
Oh, we gotta talk all this stuff.
you gotta make the
through.
money, yeah.
right.
Yep.
Okay,
And then if it's 1 day, it will be an extra fee,
Yeah, exactly.
like if it's like a one-off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll be a higher fee.
like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
drop in, which
Yeah,
isn't just a drop in.
yeah,
exactly.
Like it's,
A
right,
week's notice,
Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
asking if you should do it.
correct, right, okay.
yeah, it's perfect,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And then. The early release days,
Half day.
Mm,
Yeah, we gotta figure that out.
but we'll add, last year for the first time. They did add an additional fee.
How many
Yeah.
did we
Yeah.
calculate half days?
And then vacation.
And vacation days.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, I think, did we make that calculation?
we did at one point.
And I think I may have it in my notes.
I have it downstairs.
Yeah,
I mean, I think with vacation days, it's like the same price as camp.
Yeah,
And if it's gonna be the, the time,
Right.
whatever, you know what I mean, it becomes. A full week should be the camp price,
right.
because if that's what we're charging,
Mm-hmm. Right,
I don't know, my kids came for vacation.
Okay, I think it looks like I have
50
12
kids
early
every day.
dismissals and 11 vacation
Even I don't
days.
know if we'll get
And
that
2
here,
personal
but-
days.
Yeah, I mean, and.
Oh.
to
So
get
total of
the
25 days.
People who are already signed up for.
how many were early?
For the 5
Early
days, like 15.
dismissal.
Yeah.
I'm old school.
Yeah,
That.
Well-
That.
Do you really? Okay. And then vacation days, 11, and then personal days, 2.
Oh, those are the professional development.
Professional development. Yeah.
13 days.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
Emily, that makes sense, because whoever's on a 5-day should be able to sign up first,
Yeah.
so that they're not losing.
Right,
That's like losing an opportunity, because it's like some of those camps, like, what is it, the Orange Park or camp? Everyone always talks about how you have to get in
Right.
there and like,
Quickly,
it's
right.
you to like,
yeah,
yeah, and that,
right,
if people start,
okay.
lottery.
But I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Right, like there's the option for the drop-in if they need it a week out. Like on an off time, the vacation days, and then the early release days.
But I do think there's a whole other subset of parents who, like probably me, that would look into whether you have availability for my kids on a vacation day, but
Right,
won't need regular aftercare, so,
yeah,
but obviously the people. who
Obviously, we're not gonna wanna turn anyone away.
right, as long as we
Don't
can
have
staff
it,
it,
But
right?
she's
Right.
gotta, yeah,
Yeah.
gotta pad the staffing. to
Right.
get it.
But I was gonna say, the good news is, right, like those vacation days are already established in the
Right,
calendar.
yeah.
So like, once we open the registration, parents who need that could go in and
And
sign
book it
up,
right away, yeah.
right? So then you could schedule staff.
I think it's like the way this town was when like. Last summer, like with summer camp, and then seeing the changes that happened in before and after care. There weren't a lot of people that had faith in before and after care when it first opened.
Right.
And then all of a sudden that people started hearing good things about it.
Yeah.
And started signing up again, and then obviously like it shut down quickly, but there's more people that were ready to come back too. So I feel like the way that this is all starting right now is getting people to hear more. And I think as summer camp goes too, where, people like, if it's exactly how we all are feeling, right, very positive about it, I think we're also gonna see more people that wanna come back to, the before and after care program that, were maybe extremely skeptical before. If it's anyway, that the town has done, so. Yeah.
I like to see too, maybe some type of notice saying for special circumstances, because especially for a single parent, something may pop up where they can't find anyone to take care of their children, something happens. To contact maybe the director, which is you, and then you could work with them.
Yeah, I think, right.
But just that little
giving
notice,
this, like,
that little
drop
notice in there
Yeah.
saying for special, if you,
Right.
please contact the director, Nicole.
Yeah.
And then you would work with them. I'd like to see, because when I was a single parent,
Right, sometimes,
Mhm.
you get like a
Yeah.
work meeting schedule.
exactly, and something at the last minute
Serious
popped
about it.
up and there was no one,
Right.
there to take care of my
Right.
son, so. Yeah, so I like to see that also, so.
Said the JCC.
Did you really?
All the time, be like, hey,
Yeah.
listen, I'm getting out of work late, can you keep mine?
Oh, see, that's
Yeah,
it.
so, and
Right,
if
it's
we
just about
could,
that
we would.
communication.
If hey, my sitter's sick today.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Can I bring Johnny in
Right.
today?
yeah,
You know,
right, as long as the
Yeah,
staffing ratios.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay,
And their
Yes.
paper, and they have some kind of paperwork on file though, they're gonna need some kind of, like,
Yeah.
that's the
Right,
hard
you
part
have
with that,
to have
like,
that.
they're gonna have to like. Almost like pre-register, like where
Mhm.
if I haven't, like, if they foresee that this is going to be their lifestyle. You also have to be, well,
well, I think, right, this
Yeah.
wouldn't be like a kid who's never ever come before. all of a
That's
sudden
correct.
calling
once you
saying,
said
like,
a babysitter, that's why I was like,
Yeah.
when you say a babysitter.
But like, if it's a family
Yeah.
that's registered, but only
Yeah.
registered 2 days a week.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly, and they have a babysitter, or,
Yeah.
hey, my aunt is taking care of the baby, Johnny for these days, yeah, exactly. exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you want help with anything with regard to that? Like, do you want us to help put together a survey? Like, what, if anything, can we do?
We can ask ChatGPT to make that.
Yeah, that could be a huge help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the next
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah, okay,
is gonna be,
yeah. I like it, right,
and then I'll
you could
talk,
honestly just do it through Google, you
yeah,
could do like a Google form.
Yeah,
Google
we-
Forms.
One, are we?
we're Microsoft.
Oh, I like Microsoft better for form,
Actually,
actually.
Mike learned how to
Microsoft
do
are-
it, that's how you do
I
a
can-
survey, so if you
Okay,
could
yeah,
just get the
'cause-
stuff. I could
Yeah,
probably get Mike to
because
put it in a.
It's actually not pretty, it's much nicer. That's what we use
I
at.
never used it.
You wanna put this one together?
What, Survey Monkey, that's what we use.
That's how I did my.
I'm a Google Forms.
Yeah.
so-
Listen,
If you want to do it in Microsoft.
I am too, but I
Right.
had to do this one this year for Microsoft and I was like, it's so much nicer and prettier,
Do
like.
you wanna put it together and share it with Mike, like the draft one?
Sure.
Okay, I love
Make them
that,
So pretty.
alright,
The pictures,
I love that,
even the way it responds to you.
I love it, alright, so
So
Jamie will
Can
put
we,
together a
can we
draft.
talk a little bit about what kind of
Yeah,
questions we
yeah.
wanna put on there?
Yeah,
So we wanna put like morning hours.
right, so I think, right, like first question,
What
like,
morning-
do you need morning care?
And what
Are you
hours,
interested in morning care,
not
right,
before 7.
no, no, right.
What is
Uh,
your preferred hours,
No,
to make
I
it
Well, I would just say,
simple?
like,
No,
do-
I think it's like a little thing, like this is what we're, like you do a little paragraph first, so like this is what we're like looking to
Mhm.
do. Do you do you need like care from, like from 7:30, like a settler 7 o'clock drop off, 7:30 drop off, like 8 o'clock drop off.
Right.
Or if first, are you looking
need
for
more
before care?
Yes.
If so.
If
Yeah.
so,
Right,
this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the same thing for the night, and then also too, like, I would like their feedback on what they are looking at it for the program.
right, right, like, what are you looking for in a morning care program, what are you
Right.
looking for? in an
What is your
after-school
expectation of, yeah,
Right, and then maybe we could give some options.
Right, yeah,
right,
right.
Like homework
Homework
help,
help.
right? Time to play with your friends.
Time to wake up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, like, okay,
And
let's
also,
get some sleep and
what else
breakfast.
Help, because I wanna try to get this done is fall programming.
So do you want to
What
loop in one?
put a little
extracurricular
bit on-
activities
that on there
would they
too?
like to see?
yeah.
Mm.
That's a great idea,
Baking, arts,
right?
Do you want to
Short-
question
Yeah.
about whether they participate in vacation days and like if they'd need care
Yes.
for vacation?
Oh,
days,
yeah, there you go.
Early
Yeah,
dismissal
Do you
days.
need
Yeah.
care? So.
For ED days.
ED,
No, cause JCC is different, cause we're
PD.
pulling from all towns,
Right.
you know, so here we're, I mean, we
Sure.
can offer it. I do get requests from a lot of people.
I could see that for the
towns.
summer camp for sure, yeah.
So I don't know if people would want it for other things, for vacation camps and stuff for out of town.
I wouldn't care.
and you're not providing breakfast or anything like that to the children in the morning?
They'd have to bring it.
Don't,
How about snow days?
Hmm.
What,
Yeah.
I don't know what JCC did with that,
We
or,
close usually.
Yeah, here I feel like they only opened if like the parking lot, like if they were gonna be able to, I think they probably like went to DPW and said like, is it safe enough that we could open?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't actually, I feel like there were only a couple of times that they actually opened. I feel like the majority of.
they
the
would,
time-
they would be open a lot for delays.
Yes, they would
Yes.
open a little bit
They would
early for the
open They
delay.
would be open for, if it wasn't, like, if it was like a weird delay, they would,
Well, cause it's like, because the high school starts so much earlier, right? So like
Yeah.
if we were delayed until 10:15,
yeah.
but the buses were out running by 8:15 for the high school,
yeah,
they would, if they could, they would open. The only thing with that is staffing.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying, like, I don't know that,
Mhm.
and yeah, I mean,
And we're talking, you know, I mean, we always had this discussion at the J's, like, do we put the staff at risk?
I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
I would say it's,
Yeah,
Especially when, I mean, obviously Mike and I will have to be here, but, and it's different for us driving than for 18-year-old.
exactly.
but I also think
Yeah,
too,
you
right,
don't
like
want
those kids
chance
aren't
to-
gonna be available for like a delayed opening.
Right.
Right.
Cause
Yeah.
they're in high school, so they're going to school, right? The majority of
Yeah.
them.
yeah.
I mean, we can also look back at that, once we kind of know who we have for the morning staff too, like if we have a teacher over here, it
Right.
might not be an issue.
Right,
Yeah, so we'll leave the delays and snow days off. of it.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Okay,
so you have the hours before and after,
Yeah,
the early dismissal, the PD.
would you be interested in care on the early dismissal
Yeah.
days?
Yeah.
Maybe say like planned early dismissal days. Would you be interested in like a vacation day camp?
Mhm.
and like the school vacation days and professional development days.
Right. How about the holidays?
They're closed here.
They're closed.
They're closed here
The town
too?
hall is
Okay, yeah.
closed, yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
could have
Holidays.
someday off.
Yeah.
You
Right,
can get one Christmas thing,
right.
maybe Thanksgiving.
Maybe,
Mhm.
Maybe.
that's a maybe.
Unless you wanna run a camper there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They can learn about cooking turkeys, it's fine, it's perfect.
Great.
What,
Um,
what hours do we wanna say for aftercare?
What was it?
3:15 to 5,
Okay,
and then 5 to 6, right?
Yeah.
For the extended, right?
Yeah. Um,
And then what activities,
yeah, we got that one.
the expectations, right?
right, yeah.
And what, was there other, you mentioned something?
Maybe what other extracurricular activity would they like Park and Rec to provide,
Yeah,
i.e. baking.
Extracurricular.
crafts,
yeah,
Right.
Classes.
Do you wanna give? Like a check, like that could be like a question where they like check the boxes and then maybe write in for another.
Other, yeah.
Mhm.
So we were thinking, baking, arts and crafts, karate.
Did a watercolor, that'd be the same as arts and crafts.
Yeah, they do like a
My daughter
painting
loved
class.
I talked to that lady the other day. I went to see
Oh, they
her.
said you.
Fitness, a fitness
Fitness,
class.
Yeah.
What a game.
Oh, you know who that, do you know, Taryn
Yeah,
Sheehan?
A
gaming class.
Yeah.
She does
She does
Music
fitness.
lessons.
like
Yeah, we like that.
training stuff.
Oh, tutoring help.
Athletic training.
mhm.
I know a lot of people hired private math tutors.
Right,
There's that woman that does yoga for kids.
yes.
Yep.
Sherry
That's cute.
something.
Yeah, her first song.
She's based in
Her name?
Woodbridge. Sherry, I can find her email and
That's cute.
full name, I don't know if it's.
Downward dog, downward puppy.
What the-
It was good. It would take me a second to do it.
The PTO used to run a Lego club at the
Mm.
school
Yeah,
that was very well attended. Like,
It was nuts.
it was insane, cause so
oh,
many
that's
kids.
where all the Legos came from.
Yes, and then there were parent volunteers that ran it, but like they had a hard time having enough volunteers, but there were probably like 75 kids who went to Lego Club.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we put Lego club, but
It was- they weren't-
get some of
They
the
didn't
high
have
school
cut off.
kids to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
We
good
touched
idea.
on
I did
but-
buy, oh, and I bought robotic kits.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
So
see, that's another activity.
Right, yeah, that's great. Chess,
Yes,
Mhm.
A chess
actually, yes,
club.
Actually-
Mike was just getting that, trying to get that off the floor at JC.
yeah,
Okay,
Chess
chess
club.
club.
yeah, cause one of those boys at open house. He asked, do you have chess?
The right one.
Yes, that's right.
Right, I forget the
Yeah.
little boy's name.
Or
We said checkers, but he goes, no, chess. That's okay.
Mm. Oh, it's your fun, right, Fred?
No, he's a checkers guy.
I forget who it was. It's a little tiny little.
Okay.
Oh, he
Cool.
probably asked that because he thought, he thinks chess is checkers. And vice versa.
And
Yeah, I think it was
Well,
another
you
one-
guys, what
another
I think the
kid.
fee structure should be. I know you guys came up with something, but I wanted this.
Yeah.
If I want to adjust it, I was
Mhm.
gonna send it out.
What is?
The fee structure.
I think we've probably touched on this before, but, having those activities obviously be an additional like
Yeah.
sign up and cost.
Yeah.
Right,
But then you have to think about what do you do for families who want their kid to participate in that and then go to
right,
aftercare.
right, if
whether
that's like,
that's-
right, 3:15 to 4:30, and then you're going right to
Yeah.
aftercare.
Right. And are those people need to sign up for aftercare also? So then are they paying?
Right,
I think
For both?
I think they should. I mean, there's people that pay for aftercare that, till 5 o'clock and they only use it till 3:45.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, if I'm paying for 15 minutes, right, like,
right,
if that's all I need, and I'm paying till 5.
The only issue with that, I think that might be completely fair and whatever, but the only issue is there are people who won't sign their kids up for those activities just because it seems like then it's only available to people who have
Right.
aftercare. And like,
But if you're going to that activity, aren't you picking your kid, like, if my kid has a practice or a CCD, I'd pick them up. From it. But they're not going to aftercare. Then
No, but I
you would pick, then you would pick them up, right? Like,
but I think, right, the activities were typically till 4:30.
Yeah.
So then like, are you paying for an hour and 15 minutes of aftercare that you're not using? Or is there like
Yeah,
an
you-
adjusted rate?
like, is it completely
potentially?
separate?
Yes.
And like what you're saying, you sign them up to that, just like
Yeah. Right.
CCD or just like an
Yeah.
extracurricular somewhere else,
Yeah.
I think
totally
it's that.
separate. and you're responsible for transportation for your own kid and all that.
But that could get messy, because
Or-
now you're gonna have to decide, okay, who's here for the activities, who's here after school?
Well, there
who's
was a separate, yeah,
extended?
there was a
Separate
separate
section.
sign up,
Separate
yeah.
sign up.
So like there's a
We
raw.
can try to get the activities from like baking is 3:30 to 5.
Right.
And then if we wind up going with the two option of 3:30 to
Correct.
5 and 5 to 6, and they can add on the 5 to 6.
That's,
Sure,
Mm.
yeah, okay.
I just think if you prorate that because someone's choosing to go to a baking class.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have people like, why is it fair to other people that are only paying for 15 minutes or a half hour? They're still paying for an hour and a half. You know
Well,
what I'm
that's
saying?
why
So
we
that-
went-
so that's why I like
that's why
that.
we
It's not exactly the same though, because it's the question of whether you're making people sign up for aftercare because their kid is gonna be somewhere else.
But see, that doesn't make sense to me because like, I guess I'm confused on it. It doesn't make sense to me because if someone is choosing to go to a baking class, that is their choice. So
Right.
you're picking
you're-
them up,
but you're
but if it
choosing
ends
to
at
pick them
4:30, you as a parent are picking them up at 4:30,
Yep.
if they don't use aftercare. And they haven't used aftercare, why do they then have to use, why are they using aftercare?
So
so
they don't
that's,
necessarily have to.
That's what I'm
Nobody's
saying,
have
no,
to.
so you're
That's
gonna,
why I
you're
get
gonna have
confused.
3 fees then, you're gonna have the,
Used to have to
activity
register
fee,
for
the
activity,
after school.
and it would be paid for based.
Concessions, yeah.
So like a session and.
Right.
Yeah,
but you're gonna have 3
And
different
even if you
fees
had
though,
park and rec
Yeah.
aftercare,
right?
you have to
I
pay
hear
for
what you're saying, you're gonna
Yeah.
have, they're coming in just for the activity.
yeah,
Then you have a parent for after school.
Yeah.
And then you have on the after school, but then they
Right.
have the extended.
so I did,
So
when
there's gonna
like,
be
when I
3
decided to
different
do it for a
types.
baking class, he
Yeah.
didn't end up going to it, but I ended up paying for that and aftercare.
Same,
I
right,
paid
then
for both
took
of
a
them.
painting.
To me, I didn't think about it because it was an activity he wanted to do.
Right,
To me, some of it
Yeah.
might have to depend on whether or not we're paying like an outside person.
Yeah,
Right, like, we were paying an additional staff member to come to do baking. We were paying a woman who was an artist who came to teach watercolor.
Mhm.
If we're running like Lego club and
Mhm.
it's just like a group of like
Yeah.
counselors that run it.
Right.
Like,
that's different, yeah.
that might be a little bit
So-
different, so it might be whether or not there's like a cost associated with running the program.
yeah,
But any activity would pretty much have to go 3:30 to 5 then.
right,
Right.
that's
Right.
correct,
Anyway.
Right.
yes,
And then they can add on the 5 to 6.
That's it.
exactly.
If they wanted to, right, we can nail all those things down.
Mhm.
So I believe our next
So
meeting is
can I ask,
July
how are
20.
we asking this in the survey though?
I don't think we're asking anything about pricing.
No, I'm not saying that. When we say what extracurricular activities you want, it could become. How do you want me to put it? Because extracurricular, like outside, like that, like, cause if we're saying Legos,
Outside of, I understand,
Outside of-
outside of after school.
yeah,
Yeah.
That
Not
was an
specific, yeah.
additional fee,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
additional.
Are you willing to pay an additional fee for activities outside the after-school program?
I would just say like, what additional after.
Separate
school,
from aftercare.
Yeah.
Activity
Right,
So
right.
what interested in.
Are you interested
That's
in
that-
Parks and Rec
that-
offering?
So I think we have a survey coming out about Parks and Rec programming that. And we say it's including before and after care, but we don't make it a before and after care survey.
Survey,
Right.
yes.
Because we wanna
Yes.
keep the point.
Right.
Right, yeah. that
Program
works, yeah,
survey.
I think
Okay.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright,
So I think our next meeting is the 23rd of July,
Yeah.
right?
Can I
So,
just tell you guys two things
Yeah.
before we end? So I got approved 2 things. One, they're gonna put it's not bulletproof, but the
with the
film
film.
good.
on the windows.
Good.
Hopefully in the next few weeks, it should be up. And then we also got approved.
What is that, the security film that they
Yeah,
can't
the
see
security
in?
film.
Okay.
They, I
And
think
they
they
don't
could still
shatter.
see in, but it's, I
Is-
gotta,
Isn't it so they don't, they split, like they splinter
Yeah.
too if something
yeah,
they
it
don't.
just buys
shatter.
time. to
Yeah.
get
Right.
To safety.
Okay.
And then I also got the
That's good.
activity room approved.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you guys wanna see.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't come out great, the picture.
The renderings, I would love to see that, yeah. My comment too about the 23rd was not that I want to end, though I do. But rather
funny.
that on the 23rd, why don't we try to look at, like, so we can like help you go through the pricing stuff and like kind of
Okay,
approve and
cool.
finalize all that stuff.
Okay.
For the July 23rd meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't be here.
Won't either.
Okay.
Oh, why not? I'm gonna be here.
So we'll have 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I
and
won't
hopefully
be here.
No, that should bring us into, we should move question number 8 up to ask if we have any update on that.
I don't.
Yeah.
but I'll- yeah. Emily, can you make the 23rd?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Can you make the 23rd?
As of right now.
Okay, yeah,
If not,
I mean,
I'll be-
I will log in, I'll be remote, but I can log in. Um,
I could probably log in too.
You know what, honestly,
It's true, I could probably. log in.
remote meetings are better if everybody's remote.
yeah, agreed.
And in-person meetings are better if everybody's in person.
So
So
do
if
we
like
wanna make-
several people are gonna be remote, maybe we can make it a remote meeting. I don't know the rules and laws about that, though.
I'm not really sure either, I think we could, I'll ask, but I
If we
feel like
make
we
it
can
remote and we
yeah.
live stream it.
So
and Zoom it.
be virtual
Yeah.
only. I'll ask. That looks really cool.
We have some stuff
That's neat.
by fun and function. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
great.
No, that's really
Right.
exciting, yeah,
We met with 3 different groups.
That's cool.
That had 3 different kind of activity, options, and they were the best by far.
no, that's
And,
really
and the
exciting,
best rates too.
yeah.
I was shocked, I thought for sure they would be the highest price, and they weren't.
What's the timeline?
In one of the rooms, yeah, at the end.
8 to 10 weeks, that's the
Yeah.
only thing, we won't have it for camp, but we will have it for after school.
Well, where's
So
it gonna
like
be?
8 to 10 weeks from now.
And,
we'll start.
Yeah.
And
then
then
What's
how
that?
long will it take them? to set it
Oh,
up?
like a
it's like a
day.
couple of places, puppet theater.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be back.
That's gonna be fantastic,
It's
yeah,
gonna be
that's
great.
a nice like long-term
That's
investment,
right, I think.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Second remember, right?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that'll be nice. Okay, anything else for before and after care? So our action is that, Jamie's gonna draft the survey and send it to Nicole and Mike.
Mhm.
That we're gonna attempt to get the survey out. At some point next week, and then close it July 11th. And then attempt to open up registration around the 28th of July.
Not sooner.
Yeah, and once the survey is done, I'm happy to post everything on Facebook. And just like, hey, it's coming soon.
Do you think we should start posting it sooner, that it's coming?
I could do that, I mean, I could do that tonight or
Just
tomorrow,
let
yeah,
people know.
and then we can
Which
put
layout?
the survey when it comes.
Which layout did you go with?
Looks like it's different
It's different
perspectives of the same.
sides, yeah.
Oh, different sides? Okay,
Mine's is not the best.
okay.
I don't know.
Those different layouts.
Mhm.
Looks cool.
I don't have anything for photo right now.
I love that.
Yep.
The only thing that we were concerned about with 7 was really the outside piece.
Right, yeah. Okay, so I don't think we need to vote on anything for before and after here. 7 is OEC licensing. Nicole, I think you were getting some information about the playground.
So I talked to the woman at OEC.
Yep,
And she wants me to watch a few videos
Okay.
first. Her major concern was the outside areas, whether, how close it was to the road and what are the barriers
right,
around there. But she said she couldn't really see it as being an issue. And Kathy that did the mandated reporting today, we
Yep.
thought we were gonna have more time. She was
Right.
gonna walk around with me,
Okay.
but we didn't have the time to do
Yep.
that.
okay,
But, obviously the first step is apply, and then they'll come out and evaluate.
right.
So we would have to get the license.
Do we know? Cause I know when you and I walked a little bit the BCS playground, we had some concerns about whether or not that would pass.
Right.
Because there are some safety concerns potentially on the playground with.
Yes.
Like the
The pad.
padding and like there's a piece
Yeah.
of something that's broken as
Right.
well. Were you able to talk with Kay about?
I haven't had a chance.
Okay,
to
I
talk to
know her schedule at the end of the year
Yeah.
is super crazy. Too, but maybe at some point over the summer, we can try to have some conversation with them about like,
Like inspection and.
right, like I don't know how often, if ever. That playground, the school playgrounds get inspected. Because I do think that will be,
That's what we were concerned a lot about, just even if it needed to be fenced. I mean, there's so many concerns that we had as to financially, like what it would be.
right,
So that was like our big,
She wasn't too overly concerned about the fencing. She said as long as the street was far enough away from the area where the kids are.
right,
that's good.
And there was some
That's a
kind of
positive.
barrier, which there is a barrier there.
right.
Yeah.
Right, I was gonna say, like, the
Yeah.
backfield area, right, like, it is
Yeah.
fairly far from
Right.
the road. We're like, I think it was great that they put up the fence at Vets
Yeah.
around the basketball court, because that was right there, and a ball rolls
And I
by
was
it.
actually very happy how that came out.
Yeah, it
It
looks
looks-
nice. I
it
drove the
does-
drive through there the
So
other day.
I brought Drew and his friend there the other day, and they were like, we can't even get in here, how can we get in here? So, Here's a child lock on.
Right.
You know, but I was looking, I was like, it's really nice.
Yeah, no,
you know?
it looks nice,
Yeah, that's good.
honestly, yeah,
Yeah.
it does look nice, so, okay,
Mhm.
That's good that you're
Yeah.
discussing this, because I had a grandparent approach me 3 weeks ago
yeah.
about the playground
Oh,
and
yeah,
the condition of it, and
Yeah.
it's,
Mhm.
you know, terrible, and
Yeah.
she's afraid to bring her granddaughter
Right.
and
Which
stuff.
one? Here or at Vets?
Right here,
The upper
Yeah.
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
she should reach out to the Board of Ed,
that's, I suggested to her.
that would be a Board of Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah,
Downhill, like,
Huh?
it goes
That's
up.
for the lights.
I know, it was nice and bright when we first started.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
50%.
It's like,
Light
this
is
is this is the
Yeah.
time that we're supposed to wrap it up, okay, so,
Yeah, I was like, sounds like we're done.
wait.
Oh.
I was like,
There's the light.
chopped up, right?
so why don't we see kind of where we can get with, like, getting some of those answers about, like, the
Yeah.
playground and stuff, because that's gonna be a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure,
Yeah.
okay, did she send you the videos?
No, she told me where to go.
Okay,
I just have to go to the
On the
site.
website, okay.
Yeah.
And these are just videos about the.
The
Like
process.
wire feeders, yeah.
This is a random question, and I don't know, Emily, you might know more about this too, but. Do we have to get every single area of what BCS has inspected though, like?
just
For
the areas
licensing or just
using.
you're using, so like if one of them ended up being, like, I mean, it might stink for the kids, but if one of the playgrounds was not going to be.
Wasn't gonna pass.
Wasn't gonna pass, we could
We
just
could just
say,
not get a license, then not use it.
not use it, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
okay.
The only thing
Yeah,
is,
cause
yeah.
you could
so-
still get
yes,
a license, but say we're not using,
Yeah,
Yeah,
So, like,
that's not
that's
on
not
our
licensed, yeah.
license.
Maybe
so
also
we
I
can
mean,
get
that's
that space.
Gym,
I mean, if we needed to, that's good, I mean,
oops.
if it.
if we wanted to use it for hoops, we might have to get it licensed.
But hoops would not
That's
be
not
part of what
before,
license,
so-
I mean, what license would be the
Before and after
the
care.
daycare program,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
either before and after school or.
That's
summer
yeah,
camp.
Yeah.
So like, I know the program that runs out of my old school, like the library was licensed, the cafeteria was licensed, and like one, like art room. And they could never, ever move the kids to a different space except for those three. And they
Yeah,
had to
and
get the
we-
playground license.
We
as well.
do occasionally move kids to unlicensed spaces, like. Sonia Board of Ed came over to screen the kids moving on to kindergarten and they actually use my office because we don't have a lot of private space, but. We got a field trip permission slip.
I was gonna
signed
say,
by
oh,
each kid.
okay.
Right.
That's what,
Yeah.
Even though they were gonna be in the same space. Right, that's funny, right, that is funny. But I feel like,
And you can't do that frequently, right? Like they would, if we're just, we had another space in Milford where we're using their gym sometimes. You can't, if you're using the gym on a regular basis, you have to get it in a license, which we recently just did. But before that, we were using the field trip permission forms. But
But I
we knew
think
that
it
that
would
meant you
be-
could only do that once in a while because it
Yeah.
has to be for field trips, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be
That
hard to
tough to
not
amend
get that
license?
playground.
It's not tough
I agree.
in my experience, but they have to come out every time. And we're changing the space.
Right,
I'm waiting for somebody's coming on Friday to license our brand new playground
okay,
and, but they don't have to do a full licensing.
no,
visit.
but it's a quick
You
turnaround.
do, you have to fill out an
And they can
application to amend what the
yeah,
license says, and then depending on what it is, like for us, it's a brand new space.
Right.
We've gotta show that the fire marshal
I don't know what
looked
the
at it and
requirements
said
are.
that's good, and that the local health looked at it and said that it's good, so those things take time.
How long did
If it's
that
a new
take?
space, but
Couple
sometimes
months?
if it's not a new space, like we changed something with our gym at one of our Waterbury location. And we needed to apply for them to come back out and approve it,
Right,
but we didn't need to do anything different. We were just changing like where the kids
Right.
would go.
couple months,
I think that one was relatively quick because they knew that it was not
Okay.
gonna take a lot,
okay,
but the playground one, we've been waiting.
yeah, a few months,
Yeah,
okay, just
but that's like
Get
adding a
an
new
idea,
space to
yeah.
our- a
Okay.
brand new constructed space. We have to give it
Oh, okay.
documentation too. Of
Yeah.
how thick the
Okay.
rubber is.
okay, excellent.
But I think just to bring it back to the question we had last time, it's kind of like. At what point do we just put in the application because then somebody will come and tell us what still needs to be worked
That's what,
on.
yeah.
Because we won't know exactly
Yeah,
whether
yeah.
the licensing. Whether the playground counts or whether,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what, yeah,
Comes.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we were talking about that last time.
Yeah.
I really think that have them come and tell us what needs,
Mhm.
instead of
Yeah.
doing all the legwork beforehand, like.
Mhm.
I'd like to get through the like first, at
Yeah.
least 2 weeks of
Yeah,
camp, and
yeah,
then maybe
yeah.
try to start working
Yeah.
on that.
Yes, agreed.
I mean, as long
Yeah.
as knock on wood, everything goes smoothly, we could start
yeah.
working on
I
that.
don't see it as.
And maybe I
urgent right
can,
now.
well,
Right.
Kathy was great today from
DCF.
DCF,
Mhm.
and she said whatever I need, so maybe I'll give her a call and say, hey, listen, can you help me out with this?
Based out of the Milford DCF.
Yeah.
And I have first time thinking,
She.
What's the last
I
name?
have trouble getting a hold of people there.
What's the last name? Gosh.
Right, out of Milford.
Yeah, she was great.
That's good. Okay. All right,
No, last one.
Not have a Nona
yeah.
episode if you haven't seen that movie yet.
Um. So yes, agreed. Let's get through the first couple weeks of summer camp and then we
Mhm,
can
yeah.
talk about putting in,
Just the form, the parent, collecting all the forms from
Yeah.
everyone is just. Saving a lot of people.
okay. The next and last one is just an update about the new commission member. So, in May, I had shared with you guys the two letters that we got from interested members of the community. Those both went forward to the Board of Selectmen at the time. And, they discussed it at their May meeting.
June 3rd, I think it was.
Okay, thank you. Early June meeting. That does make sense, yes. And then so Board of Selectmen 3 was able to get in touch with one of the people, but not the other. Board of Selectmen 2 knew one of the people, but not the other. They did both end up replying to my email because they didn't ultimately approve anybody at that meeting. I followed up with them afterwards and just said, like, do you need me to set up a meeting for you with them? Are you guys gonna meet with them? So the response that I got was just that they were in process of trying to get in touch with both of them. They were planning to invite them to their July meeting, which is the very beginning of July, and hope that both of them were able to come and meet with them, or they would make it a time to talk with them separately. And that they would, at that meeting, make a decision. So that's where we are. Hopefully, they will follow through with that, and at their July meeting, they will actually approve one, and then we can add that person to our end of July meeting, is my hope. And I can send them an email as now we're at the end of June and just say like, hey, just wanna make sure this is still in process. Okay. So no news really there. Anything else for good of the order? Okay. Then it is 7:51. I get a motion to adjourn.
All right.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I.
7:52, we adjourn.
All right.
Love that.